What is going on, guys, and welcome to another video by me, the Softcop. Today's video we're going to be doing an in-depth review of F1 2016. We're going to go through the good, the bad and what can potentially be improved for future updates or the next game in the series if that is ever released. So F1's been out a few days, it's pretty much been out a week now. Everyone's getting a good feel for the game, bugs that are going on, and just generally how the game handles and how good it actually is compared to its previous games. So we're going to go through the good first. The graphics is the first point. For me, the graphics it's improved on 2015. A lot of people, when the game first came out and gameplay was first released, were a bit iffy on the graphics. People said it looked a bit too plain. There weren't as much in-depth detail. But now that people have played the game, they've completely changed their mind on it. And I can see where that was coming from the first gameplay that we did see. The game did look a bit bland in terms of... It didn't look as in-depth with graphics. But when the game came out, it was fine. Everyone was happy with the graphics. They are an improvement on 2015. It's not a huge step, but F1 games and racing games in general, graphics don't make a good game. But it's a nice improvement on 15, and when you play the game, they are pretty noticeable. The next point is the handling model for 2016. For 2015 and especially 2014, the handling model wasn't all that great in my opinion. 2014 was absolutely atrocious with a controller/pad. You could turn the assists off, but traction control would still secretly be on. And I don't use assists, and it made it very boring. The cars were planted to the ground, you couldn't lock up, you could brake absolutely super late and still make the corners. And the problem with it was coders were trying to cater to casual players and people who just pick up the game and play it, which for sort of the harder core fans, it wasn't fun. And then 15 was a slight improvement on 14, but again, it could have been improved massively. For me, the 2012 and 13 handling models were by far the best handling models in a Codemasters F1 game so far. 2015, in my opinion, is pretty close to them. There are a few little areas that still could be improved, but for me, I'm really enjoying the handling model and being able to drive. It is a relatively steep learning curve, especially if you start out with no assists straight away, because that's what I do. I haven't even used any assist on 16 so far. But if you get the game, just go in time trial, you get a much better feeling for the handling model. And if you need to, use assists and slowly turn them off if you have to. And as well, apparently, no assists is faster than using assists on this game. So give it a try, see how you like it, and then work away from there. Next point, the AI. Now, the AI have been under a lot of criticism for previous F1 games, the fact that they don't overtake you, they back out of moves when really they could easily overtake you, and things like that. Now, 2016, the AI have been improved massively in terms of their overall pace. They do go for over-ambitious moves, and sometimes it can cause collisions with you and the AI, which I like to see, and a lot of people do like to see. It is a bit annoying when you get taken out of the race because of an AI does it, but I'd rather have that than an AI who doesn't do anything and doesn't try and overtake. Now, there are a few occasions where the AI still do back out, but it's vastly improved, and the AI difficulty levels, obviously Ultimate's been added for this year, do test your skill. I did start out with Expert at career mode when I was at Toro Rosso, and it was a challenge the first few races, and then once I got used to the handling a bit more, I put it up to Legend, and it was even more difficult, which is great. I'm used to Legend AI difficulty now, and I'm probably going to go up to Ultimate soon. But with Ultimate, you really feel the AI speed. I am trying to get the trophy for completing a 25% race on, I think it's Ultimate AI difficulty, and you can get a trophy for that. I'm in a Mercedes at Austria, and the AI are keeping up with me. I've got both Ferraris right behind me at Austria, and I'm not pulling away, even though you'd think Austria is a Mercedes circuit with the Mercedes engine, but they are still keeping up with me, and I'm not even pulling away from them. They're slowly closing me down, which really shows that the AI have a lot more pace on Ultimate. If you want a massive challenge when you first get the game, then go Ultimate AI straight away and go in a lower team. I mean, I'm in a Mercedes, which is the fastest car, and I'm not pulling away from them. And I've had the game since it came out, which, what does that tell you? So the AI massively improved, and it's generally, I'm having a lot more fun with career mode, with the career mode back in, where you can make your own helmet and stuff like that, and drive as yourself. I usually don't enjoy career modes because I get bored, but I'm enjoying this one a hell of a lot easier. The next point is the features. It's quite vague, this one, but there's a lot more features in this game. 2015 was pretty much bare bones F1. All of its features had pretty much been taken out, like the safety car and all that sort of stuff. But 16, I don't think there's ever been an F1 game by Codemasters yet with more features. And you've got manual starts, formation laps, safety car, virtual safety car starts. All of that is in the game. And many people might think, well, it doesn't add that much. It's only little things here and there. But if I'm being honest, I'd rather have these features in the game than not. Obviously, League Racing, you've got the virtual safety car and all of that sort of stuff, which will affect League Racing in a positive way. And honestly, I enjoy all these features. The manual starts are amazing because it's quite simple to do, but it's very easy for other people to get better starts than you, or you to get better starts than other people. So it mixes the starts up. You've got to be focused on the lights and stuff. You can jump the start and get penalties and things like that. So it's massively improved. The features work well. There is room for improvement and a few bugs with them, such as the safety car start and the virtual safety car and things like that. But with updates or the next game, they should easily be able to fix those. And I think for future games, there's ways that they can improve these features even more to allow us to have more control over what happens, such as formation lap. The AI takes control to put you on the grid. There are ways around that in future games that I've thought of, but I won't go into that on this video. But they're the positives for this game. There are a lot more positives, but off the top of my head, I can't really think of them. But the game is definitely worth buying. There are a few bugs and stuff which I'm going to go on to now, but so far it's a very solid start, and in my honest opinion, it's far better than 15 already in terms of it's not broken and everything works relatively the way it should. But now we're going to get onto the bad things and the things that could potentially be improved or that are buggy. Safety car. Now, a few friends of mine had a safety car start in full wet conditions a few days ago, and the person, I think, that was in first behind the safety car left, and with 2016 you've got the AI taking control of your car for a bit until the person rejoins. Now, it said that they could overtake the safety car, I think it was, and because the AI car was in first, they wasn't able to do that because then they'd get a penalty for overtaking, which it's not very good and it needs fixing. As well as the virtual safety car, the delta times are all over the place. You've got some people going a lot slower than the person behind. Sometimes you can absolutely floor it and go full speed and you'll still be in the green and within the delta, while other times you'll have to go like 30 mile an hour just to be in the delta. So that needs fixing so it's level between everyone, so it doesn't really work as intended. You've got some people catching other people behind the virtual safety car, and it's like, well, that's not how it's supposed to work. Along with that, you've got the safety car. Now, again, as I stated, the safety car start, if an AI driver is in first behind the safety car, you cannot overtake the safety car and things like that. So there is a few little things there that can be pretty much worked out in updates, and hopefully the updates are soon. Another bad thing is online does seem a bit laggy. It's not severe lag, but it's enough lag that you don't really want to dive up the inside of someone, because you can see the car in front sort of moving up and down the road at like I don't know, 20 meters up the road, then 20 meters back, and it's a bit unnerving doing that because you can't really race wheel to wheel. It's not so bad as like 15 where you'd have desync and all that sort of stuff and massive amounts of lag, but they could still improve it by a fair amount until they get it just right. So that could be updated later on. Now, setups. For me, again, I am a massive fan of working setups and trying to find, like, little things in the setup to improve my speed. I love finding setups. Obviously, I do it for this YouTube channel and things like that. But for now, the default setup seems to be the best setup, in my honest opinion. Now, I think they've said that little tweaks will improve it, but I did Hockenheim and Bahrain, and I tweaked the setups to super extremes to see what that would do to the setup, and by fine little margins. And the extreme setups didn't work. Obviously, if you're trying to use a 2015 setup, you wouldn't even be able to keep the car on the track, at least with a controller. Slight tweaks do affect the car, but for me, the lap times were still the same. I was a tenth or so above that time, or a tenth or so behind the time of the default setup. And for me, that's not fun, because it's giving every single person one of the faster setups straight away. I'm thinking, well, what's the point in that? You may as well just go back to catering to the casual player. Now, it's not a huge issue, because obviously naturally the faster drivers will be able to be faster, but me trying to find setups and do setup videos, it's not exactly great fun for me. But I think that can be tweaked in either updates or the next game, or once we all get used to the setups and the handling, maybe then we'll really start to see brand new setups coming out that are faster than the default setup. I mean, you've got like 4 or 5 default setups. The middle one where you run 6.6 seems to be the best, but I'm not really a fan of it, and hopefully setups after a lot of work do work better than default. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Obviously, I've gone through the good and the bad, as well as what sort of really needs to be improved. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and more importantly, subscribe. It will help me massively. I'm trying to grow my channel. Obviously, I will be doing a lot of setup videos and league race highlights on this channel for F1 2016. But that's going to be it from me, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.